Hello, beautiful people. So today we're doing a question and answer session in marriage and relationship. In this episode, I'll be answering three questions that relates to marriage and relationship. And the first question is, what's the biggest challenge couples face after marriage? The second one is how to handle disagreements without letting it escalate. And the third one, how do you keep communications alive when life gets busy? And I'll be answering most of the questions because I've already jotted it down. I'll just be answering it in this video. So if this is what you're interested in, please do stick to the end of the video. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever we post content such as this. The question I'll be answering is, what is the biggest challenge couples face after marriage? Now, I know when couples get into marriage, there are so many expectations, there are so many things that you have in mind before getting into marriage. But most of the time, we don't think about the challenges that accompany marriages. We just feel like it is going to be rosy all through. But the fact is that most of the time, there are always challenges in marriage. If it's not from you, the couple, it will be from outside. But definitely, there's always a challenge to deal with. And this is part of it because these challenges actually make you go stronger. Now, if you are this kind of person that, okay, you have so many expectations before getting into marriage, you may be disappointed when you get into marriage because it may not give you those things that you actually wanted, or those things that you have in mind before getting into marriage. And one of the challenges most couples face is unmet expectations. There are so many expectations to come into marriage with. Okay, for example, for we ladies, you feel like, okay, since I'm married, I wouldn't suffer. Maybe before you got married, your when you were dating, maybe he was doing so many things for you, and after marriage he's not able to do those things for you, because most of the time these things happen. These are realities so many people face, that the things that their spouses were doing before getting married, they are not able to do it after the marriage. And most of the time it's, okay, I didn't sign up for this is not what I bargained for, this is not what I expected. And you see so many marriage divorces centers on those things, unmet expectations. You have expectation before getting into this marriage. You feel, okay, this man will take care of you when you get married, and now you have gotten married, you have to share bills with him, you have to do so many things that ordinarily this is not what you plan for. And you see so many people will say, okay, this is not what I planned for, this is not what I bargained for, this is not my expectation for this marriage. See, this is not my expectation, I just want out of the marriage. There are so many things we have in mind. I, for example, there are so many things I have in mind before getting married, and it is not all those things that I have. Do you understand? There was a time in the third year of my marriage that, okay, I sat down, I said, okay, it is not going the way it is. You know, those first, second, third years are those years that are very tough. So, okay, this marriage is not going the way it's supposed to go. What do I do? My husband was providing, was doing everything for, but I wasn't satisfied because this is not what I wanted. Like, this is not how I want it to be. And I had to do something. I had to start communicating. Like, most of the time, we don't communicate, and that is the issue most marriages face. Even with these expectations we have in mind, if you don't communicate it, there is no how. Your spouse is not a spirit. There's no how they are going to understand what you are feeling. Communication is actually the bedrock of every marriage. If you want your marriage to succeed, I have this expectation before getting married. I just want my marriage to succeed, and this is what has been my driving force. If you have an expectation that you say, okay, even if it doesn't work, we'll just go our separate ways, I tell you, something would always come up that will make that thing to come to pass. But if you have this mentality that, okay, I want my marriage to work no matter the challenges that come, you understand? So I had to communicate with my husband how I was feeling, and he sat me down and started talking to me and started making me understand and see reasons with him. Most of the time when we bottle up these things, we don't communicate, we don't open up the way we should, it makes us to live in assumption. You assume that, okay, this man knows what he's supposed to do and he's not doing it, this woman knows what she's supposed to do and she's not doing it. This bottling up will cause more problems because there are so many things you need to say, there's so many things you need to express, and you are not expressing it. It's actually a problem. If you know you want a marriage that would last, that would work, there are challenges in marriage because challenges help you to grow more. If you know you want a marriage that would work, try as much as you can to communicate. Put heads together to solve it. That is actually the best thing you can do for your marriage. Challenges must come. But when those challenges come, make sure you hold your partner's hand and both of you scale through that challenge victoriously. Now, the second question, how to handle disagreement without letting it escalate. The fact is that most marriages face disagreement. Even siblings that are born from the same mother, from the same father, they lived all their lives, they have disagreement. Talk more of somebody you met in your maybe your 20s, your 30s. there's going to be disagreement. There's going to be that time when you say, okay, I don't know, I don't understand, I don't believe in this, I am not agreeing with this. It's a normal phase of marriage. Those times are meant to make you stronger. By the time you know what those that your spouse doesn't like, and you know the best way to follow your spouse. But when you don't have this agreement, or when you bottle up, like you have this agreement, you are piling it up, you are saying, okay, if I open up to talk to my spouse, that this is what's happening, it may cause this, it may cause that. The best way for you to handle things like this, or handle disagreement, is to open up. Make sure you're opening up in whatever disagreement, so that it doesn't pile up. I remember the first years of my marriage, I was this kind of person. Anything that happens, I was okay, since I can endure this, let me just leave it. It's just part of it. I'm learning to grow. But no, a time came when I had to pour out all those things that was happening to me, and it was so much. My husband was now asking, when did I do this? When did I do that? Because I've not been opening up. There are disagreements, there are things I don't agree to, and I didn't open up about it. And it was not a good situation as at that time, because we needed to iron so many things out, because it was already piled up. Know that you need to pause before reacting. In any disagreement, you need to pause before reacting. Most of the time, we react overboard, making our spouses scared of even opening up to us. Agreement, you cannot pause to listen to what your instinct is telling you, what you're supposed to do at that particular time. Most of us, we just overreact and making things worse than it already is. You know that most of the times we say out words that we are not supposed to say. You are having a disagreement with your spouse, and you bring out words that you're not supposed to bring. Most marriages are crashed. I've heard of somebody that said, okay, it's not as if I don't have feelings for my spouse, it's just that she can't take back the words she said to me. And you know, words are powerful. There are things we say to our spouses that on a normal day we are not supposed to say. Even in disagreement, we try as much as we can to pause before reacting. We try as much as we can to stay respectful. No matter what we are saying in that hour, or that minute, or that moment of disagreement, we need to be respectful, so that we don't say something that would be overboard, that would make our marriages to fail. So many couples that you see that they are facing maybe divorce, it's not as if they can't settle what they have, but when they think about the words that were used by their spouses to them, they feel that they can't forgive. This is what is the situation of so many divorces. So we should try as much as we can to pause before reacting, and to stay respectful. Now, when you are having a disagreement, it is something that is normal. You are meant to learn one or two things from there. Make sure you are listening to your spouse. It is not all about pouring out what you have in your heart. It's all about listening to what your spouse is saying. It's very important. When you as a man know that you need to listen to what your wife is saying in the disagreement, or you as a woman know you need to listen to what your husband is saying in the disagreement, I see there would be a compromise. There will be a time that will come that you need to compromise for your spouse, because you know you want your marriage to work, isn't it? You know there's a need for you to compromise in that situation. It may look as if you can't even you can't even do anything at that time, but when focus on listening, there may be a need for me to compromise it. I may compromise. Maybe we need to leave this and discuss it later. It happens. Marriage is not a bed of roses. There are meant to be disagreement. But in all, make sure that you try to resolve every of your differences quickly. Never make those disagreements linger for long, because by the time it lingers, so many other things will be adding to it. So many other hurts will be adding to it. And that is what actually breaks marriages. Don't allow your disagreement to linger for long. You may have disagreement. You may have that period in your marriage where you feel you are not agreeing with your spouse. It's a normal part of it, because after that time you get to understand your spouse better and know how to follow them. We are all human beings. You cannot understand a totality of a man. You cannot understand the totality of a woman at once. So many people that even married for 25, 20, 30 years, you see them, they say they are still learning their spouse. It's every day you are learning one thing or the other. Every day for the women, hormones are changing, so many things are changing, and you are learning. So all this agreement, you try as much as you can to resolve it quickly. Then the third question: how do you keep communication alive when life gets busy? Most of us are busy, but how do those people that are working, how do they keep their marriage life, how do they keep their love life and their communication alive even in that busy schedule? I, for one, I'm in a long distance marriage, and I can tell you that it is not easy. But keeping the communication alive is something that I don't banter with it. It's something that is very important in my marriage, because I know that communication is the bedrock of every marriage. You need to be able to communicate to your spouse to actually know what they want. So what I do mostly is I prioritize small check-ins. Thank God that social media has made it very easy for you to check on your spouse. You don't need to actually place a call. You can use WhatsApp, you can use Telegram, you can use Facebook Messenger to drop messages sometimes. Like I, in my own routine, what I do, I in the morning when I wake up, I always send prayers to my husband every day. From the time I knew him to this is about 10 years or 11 years, going to 11 years, I always send daily prayers for him. In the morning, I pray for him. Maybe by that kind 9, 10 in the morning, I check how he's doing, whether he has eaten. No matter how busy my schedule is, I make sure that okay, I just take just few seconds, few minutes to chat him up to know how he's doing for the like during the day you carry your spouse along. You mustn't be maybe making long calls. It is quality over quantity. You need to prioritize them. They are important in your life. So you need to make sure that every point in time, most of the time we spend more time at work than we spend at home. If you would check it very well. So even those times when you are not together, you can drop simple messages. Just make sure they know that they are important to you. Most women will feel okay if I'm doing that, it's as if I'm bothering him, it's as if I'm always there, it's always as if I'm always available. Please, if you are married, make sure you are available. That is part of the marriage deal. Make sure you are available for your spouse. When you know it's time for you to talk to your spouse or you have to check in on them, please do so. Now there was this incident that happened that I dropped a message in the morning for my husband and he didn't see the message. Like if you send a message in WhatsApp, you to just tick too good and you know that this message has been passed. And this message was not passed. It was about 5 hours later. I was busy all through the day, and when I checked about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I saw that he has not checked. He has not ticked the message. I started calling his line. His line wasn't going through. I panicked and I started calling his business partners, and they told me his phone had issues and the rest of them. So this is what he does. When anything is happening, you should be carried along. There should be a priority in your life. Now make sure you are intentional. Most of the time we are not intentional about our spouses. We feel that okay, when I give this woman attention or when I give this man attention, he will act somehow. But it's not actually so. Make sure you are intentional about building your marriage. Make sure you're intentional about building your family. Intentionality matters a lot. You shouldn't wait for when the time is right for you to actually communicate to your spouse. It's one mistake so many women made. And I think I fell into that category sometime, mostly in my early marriage. I was thinking, okay, when I continue talking to this man, when I talk to him frequently, maybe this see finish will enter. But it's not actually so. Make sure you show your spouse that you care for them, that you love them. It is part of the deal. It is part of the deal. So there are so many things so many people do in marriages that it makes it look as if marriage is boring. But marriage is not actually boring. It is how you are intentional about building this marriage. That's how it will make it work. I've answered three of the questions. If this is what you'll be interested in, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. So thank you and see you in my next one.